Good morning, good morning, good morning. We guys are going to resume in a few minutes. Let's just grab a coffee, few minutes together, and I'm going to play some music until then. And I'll see you in about 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Good morning. Hi, Sally, Knitting Yogi, Barbie. It's really nice to see you. Sorry, Sally, I still didn't get back to you. Oh my God, this freaking pandemic is turning all the days to one. I kind of like read it right away and then I forget to get back to it. It's weird. It's going to get only worse because now for the first time we're getting a really nice and warm day here in Toronto. So it's something really, really beautiful to enjoy. So I don't know what was this before, Barbie. I can't remove this. I mean I can remove it, but I would not know what this really means over there. So I'm going to remove it as a result of it. So hopefully everybody had a beautiful week. Happy Victoria Day, which is this long weekend in Canada. I don't know why, but we have it early. I completely forgotten about it, and I know the next week is Memorial Day in the US. So yeah, hello Kylie, good morning. Good morning. Hi Biljana, how are you? Good to see you guys. Kisses everybody. Hopefully everybody has your own coffee and you're kind of enjoying yourself as well this CATURDAY catch time over here. I didn't ask Sapphie to join us, forgot it, but Sapphie, would you mind joining us, sweetie? On live. I'm now on live. Would you mind kind of bringing your furry ass? Huh? Sapphie? Usually I have to make a day preparation, and seriously, whenever I ask her a day in advance, she showed up, even for a second, but she did. Hi Michelle, it's really, really good to see you. So without further ado, let's start. Happy birthday to Taurus, of course. So we are going to start with Taurus. It's still kind of like a little bit of transition left, so it is really good to hope that you guys having a beautiful weather and beautiful time to really celebrate. So I'm using, what is this called? Cosmic? That's not cosmic. This is called, I think, Witch's Tarot. Oh my gosh, I'm really, really bad. This way. Is this all upright? No, it isn't. Okay, that's good, because I was cleaning these decks and really kind of like positioning them, And you know that I like my reversals because it gives me a little bit more accurate thing. So this is for this week of May 16th. So let's see what's happening. Guys, officially Venus is retrograde, I think until June 25th. That's not necessarily a great sign, because when Venus retrogrades, it's almost like we see everything through kind of like pink color glasses. And everybody's like wonderful and the world is wonderful. We feel really good while going through it. It's almost like that infatuation feeling of love. But but then, you know, like, I mean, somebody takes this like wools off your eyes and you're like, what was I thinking? Kind of like, there is like this card which is called projections in Osho Zen. I don't know, where is my Osho Zen? It's not here. I wanted to show you, which kind of like shows that we completely see people differently. So be very careful of that. Especially, I would not advise starting, and I know it's hard because many of us has lost our jobs or income is affected, but starting a new job, very much similar to Mercury retrograde, anything that has to do with relationships and beauty, no plastic operations, no beauty procedures, because you're going to think it's the greatest thing and it's going to have devastating consequences. Same thing as relationships and committals. Be careful, people will not turn out to be who they are. Hello, happy birthday to your kiddo. Hopefully she is enjoying herself. That's awesome. Awesome. How old is she, if you don't mind us asking? Because, you know, of course you're 29. We know that, right? But let's see, what is your daughter? So let me have a sip of my first coffee today. I went for a walk with Tiger, and he chased a kid. So I had to run in the morning, which when you're overweight, this is not really easy to do. So he got a big scolding, and anyway, that's my problem with Tiger. He's a herding dog. It's not going to stop. Each time I walk him, I have a mini heart attack. So let's try it again. How about that? We start with Taurus. It took me 3 minutes. Taurus. Ooh, and we have Justice. We have Karma card coming through. Ooh, you have two. You have two majors coming through, Taurus. This is like really important. You might be dealing with some issues that could have concern honesty, could have be doing something with possibly jealousy. It could have been doing something with kind of like being really angry, kind of like feeling that it's kind of like really hard for you to kind of like find your place, let's say, in the universe, like you're feeling, and it's kind of like, that's Venus retrograde. Even if you're doing something wrong, you're feeling everybody else is doing something wrong, right? So there's like something over here that you really need to kind of like address, right? So be very careful, because something is really balancing out. And like, I mean, this is really important. This is not a karma card. This one is. She's holding the scales of justice, meaning she's rebalancing certain things. Something is coming back in order. So it's really interesting, because Venus, usually the card that represents Venus in tarot is the Empress. And the Empress is representing both you and Libra. So this is Libra. This is your counterpart that is really showing up. And it's really telling you, you really need to be fine-tuned this week to really look both sides of the equation. Really, it's going to be really important. And some of you will be grinding your teeth, like grin and bear, thinking, I hate it. I just want to tell you off. It's going to be kind of like a little kind of like short fuse, but you're going to really do that elegantly. And I really think it's going to be some event that's going to be regarding your birthday, especially those of you, of course, those of you who are going through this week's birthdays, want to be affected the most. But generally, for all of you who already have been or anticipating your birthday, is going to be either look back or look forward to the people who you surround yourself with. I think this pandemic is really beneficial in a way. I don't know, it's oxymoron, right, to say that we are going inside we are, especially you guys, this my people, right, that come here to the live, and the people who are listening to my little kind of like 2 cents, like the spiritual people, we are not really, well, maybe we are rebellious in a different way, but like we kind of like find that showing the strength is pretty much doing the right thing versus punching somebody, versus yelling at somebody, versus this verbal kind of like what they call a diarrhea debacle. And this is kind of like when you start realizing, well, superior word is not good because again indicates somebody's better than somebody else, but kind of like more enlightened, where you kind of like realize that certain things just kind of like don't make sense. So this is actually really good, my dear Taurus. I really don't think I need to clarify or anything. You are going to be challenged, but you're going to win with flying colors. And this is kind of like a reward. Maybe you're dealing with Libra, maybe you're dealing with a Leo, which these are signs that are indicated to kind of like show and come forward. And if that's the case, it's going to be some kind of generosity. Maybe you're going to receive a generous present. Be very careful not to judge it and immediately feel very fond of that person. As I said, it can be really deceptive. So it's really important not to overreact or attach too much meaning to anything that really comes your way. All right, so who do we do next? Let's go Libra, because the Libra shows us our hand over here in this reading. So let's follow the rabbit to the hole. So Libra for this week. Oh my gosh, look at my mods are over here, my people are here. I'm so glad to see you guys. I was like outside walking tiger, and it was so nice outside, and everybody said, oh, kind of cancel your lives. Like, yeah, cancel live, like I mean 1 hour before. Are you insane? I want to see my people. So I'll see you later. All right, Libra. So oh my goodness, we have Mars showing up, the Tower, and Strength. So is this good, or is this one wants to show up? And we have Knight of Pentacles. Well, you do know the Tower is a sign which shows that something hasn't been grounded properly. Something hasn't been built in a way that is sustainable. Whatever this is. This could be a job. This could be kind of like how we conceive our life. This could be anything else. You know, I mean, you can all kind of like see and speak for yourself. I mean, it's just like it could be anything from, do you have a proper diet? Do you get up and do you kind of like go to bed at the same time? And I certainly know, because I'm Libra ascendant, and that's where I was going with this, that this pandemic completely made me, well, let's call it lazy. And I'm not a lazy person by nature, and I don't procrastinate by nature. I'm actually quite the opposite of that. One of my good redeeming qualities, right? But I'm almost like kind of like cannot recognize myself, and the more I do it, the more I fall in the hole of that. And this is really telling me it's going to be, hello, you need to start being active. You need to start doing things. You need to kind of like start to kind of like look in a different direction. It's an upright. So the impact is going to be pretty strong. Something is going to happen pretty much very similar to what I've seen in Taurus reading, except, guys, over here is going to be something that cannot be delayed. But justice is still like, you're still thinking like it was in Taurus reading, the Justice instead of the Tower. It was, well, negotiation. You can still negotiate right here. You have lost the rights for negotiation. This is it. You're in front of the judge and you're being told, kind of a thing. So this can also be a phallic thing. It could be, because it's ruled with Mars, it's kind of like ruled with anger, ruled with this warlike thing. And like some people are connecting this virus with war and invisible enemy. I absolutely hate when they do that, because whenever you use these negative terms, and like, you know, the war or drugs or anything, you always lose to start with. And the second thing is like, it sounds, it makes you feel uncomfortable. It makes you feel not, it looks like defeated. It's hard to go toward the solution. So anger is sometimes good. anger comes to the surface, especially if you have been through a long kind of like period of sadness, if you had issues with relationships, right? And look at how freaking phallic this really is in this particular deck, even more so than anything else. It's almost like a crown is falling off here. Tower, however, in this situation means if something happens, that's an opportunity to rebuild. Where you have been led astray, whether by somebody else or by you, this is time to rebuild. And you can start with this situation, which is going to be very similar like in Taurus reading. You are going to be kind of like soft. This is just like Tiger after I scold him when he chases kids or nips kids. Then he's like comfortable sitting next to me, knowing he's guilty, but also very proud of himself. But we are not going to nib anybody, right? It's going to be, I prevent myself of such disastrous actions, and I'm proud of myself. So this is kind of like winning a mastery over yourself. I do recommend, guys, a book, and because you're brainy people, you like to read, and I know that the entire audiobook is for free, placed on YouTube, because I listen to it from time to time. It's called The Mastery by Robert Greene, with E at the end. So especially the chapter on psychology, which is I think the chapter 4, is extremely revealing. His books are amazing, in spite of the titles that are kind of like can rub you the wrong way, but they're really good. I really think he is reinventing psychology, so that's appealing to me. It really talks about what you need to look in the people in order to understand them better. So King of Pentacles is telling me about a grounding, like you are finding a solution with tough week. Well, I'm going to treat myself. And I don't know about you guys, a whole bunch of things are opening over here, which is a scary thing if you really think about it, right? So here, this is really talking about you pampering yourself, whether this is a pedicure, manicure, haircut, dyeing your hair, giving yourself a bubble bath, cleaning your place, having a good supper. It's going to be something like that. You are kind of like realizing that everything is okay and you are on the right path. So this is all pretty good. So hopefully to do that. Well, Sally, we also hope you can stay along. I kind of missed you, and I know Sally moved to Florida, so she's kind of like really enjoying herself in the warm environment. But hopefully over here we're going to have some nice summer coming soon. Leading yoga, she's in Maine. No schools open here, but hair salons and nail salons. Really, you have that open? I think Ontario is slowly opening. Where is my CBO music? Ontario is like really slowly opening, and that's because we have this long weekend. So rich people, this is not me, who have cottages, are willing to have the services. So hence, ta-da, reopening. So guess what? End of the month, we are going to have a spike. And we are not going to have a spike only in Toronto, but also in the neighboring areas. Just mark my words, and I really hope I'm really wrong on this one. So that's okay, Barbie. We had a Taurus and we have Libra, and the next one that really showed was Leo. So let's go in Leo next. Barbie will give you, please, a round of applause for Barbie. She's so amazing. And I have something for you, Barbie. Look at that. On this list I'm putting here, something that other people can read for you, because I'm not going to read it. You're just going to get it later when I send you the timestamps. And Barbie always posts these timestamps, so that's so nice. So, Leo. Oh, let's see what jumps out. Leo. Ooh, the star. And then the shadow side, of course, because this is what it is. That's how it happens. Like we are going from, this is like two dark cards. Like this is happening at night, and this is happening at night when we are looking for the light. But this is like happening in the light when we are looking for the dark. So they almost like cancel each other. So this is the devil card, right? If you wonder what is the shadow side. But look at the significance of it. She is nurturing. She is giving you everything. Food, drink, everything is there. There's like this hope and universal. And why is this card very special for you? Because in this life you're born as Leos, and you're learning the lessons that you're going to apply when you get to the level of Aquarius, where it's going to be a little bit different level. So this is like almost like a higher or not higher necessarily, just a different side of the coin, right? The vibration. So these are like the upper major arcanas, as I call them. And I know there is like no terminology like that, but I find that have a little bit more significance because we are more challenged in these cards. So they come with more rewards, except it's really hard for us to get to that reward because we are dealing with the challenges. The challenge here is to be selfless. Challenge here is kind of like to be giving, because look, she has nothing. She has relinquished all her clothes and everything, and she is just nurturing the soil and the water. And this is kind of the also what Aquarius is being represented with this jug of water, which represents the knowledge being transferred. But this over here can represent a few things. So there is a hope in a situation, but there is also a fear in a situation. There is like a fear of possibly codependency, or fear of something, but this can also indicate unbridled passion or carnal kind of like desire, if you really wish. So you kind of like, it's almost like when you dream about somebody and you say, oh, she's so beautiful, she's amazing, and you kind of like overly idolize the person, and then you see this person, oh, I just want to jump her bones, kind of a thing, right? It's kind of like you almost like catch yourself doing it. So this is kind of like telling you nicely in the end. So there are 2 6s. This is kind of like a soulmate feeling, guys, right? So this all kind of like adds to the Judgment card. This all adds to 20, and 20 is also karmic kind of like thing. So that's in the karmic card number 20. You see people opening caskets and basically ascending, right? So like whatever they sinned, it's staying behind, it's staying on this planet, it's staying as a testament of how difficult it is to live this dimension, and now understanding what is really needed. So there is like the generosity, which is kind of like waking up, and it can be generosity connected to you guys. So he is giving these coins to these kids in this particular deck. He doesn't have a scale, but I'm still picking up on this scale over here because you did come up to the Judgment card. So there is like some maybe universal karmic sense of this kind of like balance over here. This is also telling you and warning you not to give more than you should, and not to take more than you should. So if you are the one who is giving, be careful, be kind of like clarify this. Why am I doing this? Because this is really talking about generosity, and this can talk about a little bit about self-indulgence or something, and it can spiral out of proportion over here, because as I said, here she's going toward the light, and then when you come to light you want to go in the dark. So this is kind of like where the cycle starts to spin. You don't want to repeat kind of like certain things, especially. So the way out is like taking slowly educated steps forward, and that's going to be very, very important over here. I'm glad to hear, Sally. Very cute. So which card did we have? So the next one is leading us to Aquarius, and let's see what Aqua people are going to be getting this week. A sip of my coffee to get powered up. I'm reading in Yogi, counting on people to self-quarantine for 14 days. I know. Masks are not working, and I used to wear masks before anybody else wore masks because it didn't make any sense not to wear them. Now I wear them when I go to anything closed. If I go in a closed store or anywhere closed, I will wear them. And then I have one of those masks. Where is it? Did I put it in the car? I order it. I can tell you guys where I ordered it from this woman. It was only 11 Canadian dollars, and she did such an amazing job. It's on Etsy. So it opens, and then you put here a paper towel that you can change, so that way it's more dense and thicker, right? So that way you kind of or you can just, if you have original mask, you need only one to put it in, right? So that way, because virus is very small, you try to prevent anything that kind of comes through. What would be 11 bucks? About $7 US. And of course you can wash it. So I bought 2 and advise buying 2 or 3. Why? Because when you get home, and that's the instruction from my paramedic friend, he said, don't touch on it, don't rub your nose or anything while you're doing it, but put it aside and keep it out for maybe 48 hours, what they say, so that way you don't touch it. So that's why I have like 2 in circulations and I have few masks. So that's kind of like what is really good to do. So there you go, I'm blabbing again. So we are going to do Aquarius again. Aquarius, Aquarius. Well, it's going to be, Kylie, everything is going to be eased off this week, and it's going to be very scary because until they get vaccination, we are not going to go back to normal. I don't think we are going to resume the schools or anything. Lots of people are nervous. We are like now 8 weeks or 9 weeks locked. It's impatience, like dog parks are closed, and they just open national parks. And so we'll see what happens. So Aquarius, we have 9 of Swords. We have the Empress, which is this Venus, and then we have 4 of Cups reversed. So 9 of Swords is, look, this is that lethargy. This is this lethargy in board cards. This is like our mind. We need, I guess, this extroversion. We need to interact with people on some kind of like meaningful level. Like all we are hearing is pandemic, pandemic, pandemic. Sure, yeah, we get it, but can we talk about, I don't know, Tesla? Can we talk about some science? Can we talk about something kind of a thing? Like this is like needing chatty friends, but this is also about feeling pressured with worries. But it is the reverse, which is kind of like really talking about you are on top of these problems right now, right? You're almost like jumping through it. Don't run back in your problems, because it almost looks like she can run right through it, right? Don't go back. You can go forward, go upward, kind of like you are bigger than your problems. What do I mean with that? You are capable of understanding how to handle it. When you're like 5-year-old and you have $5 for your monthly allowance, it's like, oh, how do I deal with this? And how do it's a struggle dealing $5, right? But then when you're like, 30 years old and you have $5, it's a piece of a cake, right? So similarly here we have a 4 of Cups where nothing can please him. He's crossing his arms, he's holding to himself, both his confidence and his heart. It's kind of like feeling, oh well, good things are not going to happen to me, kind of a thing, right? But look at this, 9 and 4 are 13. This is the Death card, and it is a good one. There is like some kind of transformation that is really going to happen. We are going to feel sexier, we are going to feel better, we are going to feel loving, we are going to feel giving, and we are going to be receiving things as well. So this is actually really, really good development. We need to learn how to cherish ourselves. We are finding a way out of, if you wish, darkness, if you wish, of boredom, if you wish of like all of these days kind of like melting into one. I don't think I would pass a dementia test these days when they ask me which day it is. Like today I woke up and I was like thinking, what day is it? And I couldn't, I swear to you, for a minute I was trying to make sense what day it is. And then, oh, for some reason I was thinking it's the middle of the week. And I was like thinking, like, why is it 8:30 and I'm still sleeping, kind of a thing. And Tiger is not jumping on bed and trying to get me out. And I said, oh, it's Saturday. He knows the concept of Saturday. That's lovely. So this is really also talking about this easy. Maybe we'll be beautifying home. Maybe we'll be beautifying us. So I don't know where I said about this Venus retrograde. It's not going to be affecting us this week. And look at this pretty bunny rabbit over here. It's kind of like lots of goodness coming over here, and I really like that she has the stars. I also really like that she's leaving this winter and she's kind of like moving it forward, bringing spring. It's like so appropriate to speak about Toronto. It's going to be actually a really lovely week, almost like you'll be able to go later in a year to this week and you realize you started with something. So yay. So we saw the Empress, and we already covered Taurus, and we covered the Libra as well. So I will randomly pick something. So let's go with Pisces. Pisces, and I picked it at 2911. It's a stamp, so it already is something happening. So Sally, are you bored here in Florida? Come on, tell us how it's happening. Sally made this like move across the country, so it is really lovely. Southern Hemisphere is heading into winter. Oh my gosh, yes, Kylie, I completely forgotten about it. You're going to be tested because usually in winter you get the winter flus, and these pandemic combined with the flu can be a bad thing. So, boy, we are really lucky over here in the Northern Hemisphere. At least we are able to learn from the other nations. We have been actually pretty diligent in Ontario, I really have to say. I don't really like a Premier of Ontario, not at all, but I think he kind of like held his own. I have to give him that kind of like, yeah, sure, he's pro-business, he's right wing, he kind of like cares more about money than the people, but I think he's just testing to see how it would look like to loosen up. And it's again kind of like telling us not to go and see our parents, not to see kind of like other people, but he's seeing it himself, and that's kind of like hypocrisy that you can expect from any politician, right? So what do we have, Pisces, over here? This one really wanted to show. So it's a Five of Swords reversed, and then we have the Emperor, then we have Two of Pentacles reversed, and then we have a Nine of Pentacles. My dear Pisces, I think you are a little bit worried, aren't you? You're worried that like maybe you are on the losing end of something. It's all adding to 20, so I'm seeing this like big karmic week happening over here for all of us, right? So 20 is a judgment card, it's again karma card, and you're having the Emperor like standing out as a major arcana, and it's standing up upright versus all these other cards which are minor and they're not hence that important. This could be just simple like a minor irritant happening. So I think you're going to start the weekend with some arguments, or something is not going to sit well with you. You're going to start feeling that maybe somebody is working against you, or that you need to resolve the situation. Some of you are feeling financial pinch as well, and trying to figure out how to put things in order and how to kind of like organize it. You are clearly suffering in isolation. You are clearly suffering from this pandemic. It's really getting to you. And at the same time, you have that presence of mind to realize that you really need that stability, and that kind of having a rhythm and routine and almost like cold clinical approach to things is actually what is keeping you going, and this is extremely good and extremely positive attitude. I also like that we see the kids, so the Emperor is looking his kids and his people who will be left behind him. There is a mountain which I believe he conquered. The mountain always talks about either long delays, because you have to go either around the mountain, or if you want to go across the mountain, that can be very steep and treacherous and dangerous, right? But he is claiming the victory, except I don't know how cozy this metal kind of like thing is for him. But there is like this life, there's like something new that is really happening. So you're reclaiming your strength. You're realizing how strong you are, and in spite of all these irritations, you are really you're really pulling yourself together. Maybe family is relying upon you. Maybe everybody wants a piece of you. Maybe everybody wants something from you. Maybe everybody's getting on your nerves, and you're saying, okay, everybody just let me have my 2 cents. Maybe this is exactly what has been happening, that you have been the caretaker and caregiver, and you've forgotten yourself in the process. So if that's the case, guys, you know, claim some me time. It's going to be very, very important for you to do that. So now this is leading us to Aries. Aries. So let's see, what do we see here? Aries. I'm going to have a sip of my Americano. Okay, Barbie, so you need what it was. We had Taurus, then we had Libra, then we had Leo, then we had Aquarius, then we had Pisces, and now we are on Aries. Aries. Oh, Aries. This one wants to come out, this one wants to come out, and this one wants to come out. Look at that. You also have two majors. You have the shadow side. You have Eight of Cups, and you have the Chariot. Look at this. It is a light, but we are in the dark, stuck in the dark, and that can simply talk about this isolation and feeling stuck inside, and everything is like so weird, and resuming is weird because you guys move so fast. So for you, 2 months, or in some countries in Europe and in Asia, it was like longer, right? 3 months. It is like, it's a new reality kind of a thing. The Devil card also talks about us being stuck to the old principles and to old attitudes and to things that we kind of claim to be who we are. You know, like, I mean, all our cells change. So every 7 years, we are a completely different person, and yet we have the same attitudes and everything, which means with this card, we are making sure we are transferring this and we are adhering to that sense of who we really are. And then in this card, we see this girl leaving. Except, how is she leaving? She is almost like going to the ocean, and if she's going to find a path somewhere, but she's following her own stars, you see, as we can see it here. She kind of like thought she has quite a bit, but there is like this new understanding. Hey, you know what, I have it here. I really don't know if I have it unless I see what is elsewhere. So there is like some kind of exploration for you guys. It's almost like you're really conflicted because it feels like you feel ungrateful, or you're being told you're ungrateful, or somebody else is ungrateful in this situation, which is really, really important. I think some of you might be in relationships that could be codependent or could be very imbalanced, where one person is calling all the shots, another person is just sticking and playing the role because it's so much easier to get along, and so on and so forth. Somebody might walk out this week. Somebody's going to say, I don't know, I really don't know if this is going to be working for me, and that's why the Chariot shows up. And look, see the moon? You see? It's identical. And Chariot is all about devotion and dedication. It's really interesting because 15, 1 and 5 is 6, and this is 7, right? So there is like this huge motion forward. It's almost like you come in a car, you turn the key, and the car does not want to start. And you're like, oh no, kind of a thing, right? So do I need to go to the mechanic? What do I need to do? And why is this happening right now? It's kind of a whole bunch of stuff. Then you try it again, and then it starts kind of like immediately driving, like, 100 miles a second kind of a thing. Because a Chariot is like this huge dedication to the goals. Chariot rules all the knights. So absolutely all 4 are buried in this card, right? So you might have this like a restart, new goals. You might be writing a list of what you want to do, in which direction you really want to go, and what you really want to accomplish, right? So, and you really, really will have the gas to the like floor, right? Pedal to the metal, as they say. It's going to be a full, but somebody, as I said, somebody might be leaving. This might be you. But in any case, no matter who leaves, or if this is your own decision to kind of like go in a new direction, because I see something. I see that it's not going to be like it was yesterday, that you're going to just leave this darkness behind and you're like moving forward really, really in a very productive way. Okay, so this is, guys, leading us to Capricorn. No, it's actually leading us to Barbie telling me that it is a time for our pick a card. So guys, I'm going to block the screen so I can shuffle the cards. Where is it? And you guys think of a question that you have it answered with yes or no. You know, yes or no is the least accurate, but still it kind of gave us some guidance. That's why I always kind of give a little bit of explanation with it. And some cards really cannot be yes or no. So ask yourself a question, focus on it, let your focus go in my cards to give us the answer, So let's see, the door number 1, jumped. The door number 2, this one wanted to come out. And the door number 3, it was a whole bunch of cards. I don't know if I should grab them. Okay, let's grab them. All right, so what do we have here? Go back to the other screen. All right, so the door number 1, we have the moon reversed. So most likely this was some kind of situation that was very unclear. It always felt if you go left that they're going right. It almost like was the moving target all the time. This situation could include lots of jealousy, but it could include that you were getting lots of intuitive hits, like lots of messages that maybe somebody was very special, but at the same time you were getting it and it kind of like reality did not respond in kind of a thing, right? But the moon reversed, which means the clarity is about to come. This is really telling me that's the Venus retrograde. This is really not good to intensely think of this wish, because you might not even want it, or it's going to take a completely different form. So you need to reach a greater clarity about this and ask yourself, why do I want it? So I can't answer either with yes or no or maybe, because this is telling me it's going to be more steps needed for this situation to evolve, or this question has some kind of like sub questions that are actually more important at this stage. So the door number 2, we have the Ace of Swords reversed, and this is a no, guys. This is about some lies. So you might hear yes, but that's the Venus retrograde. It's not going to turn out to be the way you envisioned that to be, and you're going to feel that somebody lied to you. This can be also lie by omission, somebody not telling you the truth, what you probably should hear. So be very careful about that as well. And the door number 3, this was the first card that came through. It's like 5 of Cups, but then this little bundle came through. 7 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups reversed, 2 of Swords, and Knight of Rods. So this question could have been about somebody coming back and some decision, or how do you really move forward? Clearly this is really telling me that it was some kind of like sadness about this, and it could be about missing someone. It could be about I really need you in order to kind of like feel my life moving forward, right? But there is like a situation here that is still in the dark. She's like blindfolded. She's trying to reach a decision. Somebody's really mulling it over. It could be a choice between the two people. It could be a choice between the two things, right? So the Knight of Rods is, if you ask for a person to come back, most likely they will. But they might not be there to stay. They might just simply call or just drop by. And Knight of Rods has that ability to be a one-night stand kind of a thing, right? So it could be lots of things, but this question could also affect you financially, which means you have to reposition yourself. It's not really happening the way it is, and you're kind of like trying to figure out how to do it. So most likely this is yes, but this is also going to feel really tricky even when you get it. So that's really important here to understand, guys. So shall we continue? I think I was just about to say that we are going to Capricorn, so let's do that. Capricorn for this particular week. Capricorn. 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 Yeah, Knitting Yogi, I picked 3. I couldn't pick 1 because I saw it when I shuffled, but then I picked 3, and I'm still puzzled kind of like how this is going to play it out for me as well. It's just amazing when I interpret. I cannot interpret it for me because it makes no sense, but I kind of like I'm trying to see how things are going to work out, because I ask if my dad is going to be okay health-wise. So Capricorn, we see Ten of Swords and Ace of Pentacles. So again, it's this kind of like 11 and 13 that the numbers are jumping at me. 11 being karmic card of some kind of like balance where we see is juggling, and 13 is like regeneration, transformation, going in a new direction kind of a thing. Where is my Chris today, Mr. Capricorn, who's like partying somewhere? So Ten of Swords is like not a card that anybody's like so excited to see, like, yay, I got a Ten of Swords. No, it is about betrayal. It is about feeling defeated. It is about being scared of our own shadows, right? But when we're on the rock bottom, that's what happens. When it reverses, it's only one way to go up. You have to take every single sword out, every single one, and they're really painful to remove, very painful to remove. So it is kind of like dealing with something from the past. Maybe you're dealing with some memory of some words that have been exchanged, because swords are like kind of like words, and you know how they say words will not hurt you, or they will hurt you very much longer past you kind of heal the scar on your body. And there is like something like, I mean, that we have this like energy of one in both of these cards, that something you feel does not have the long-term possibility. And even though you haven't decided how to move forward and what to do going forward, right? Like this Two of Pentacles is still saying, for a time being, you're just putting one foot in front of another. You're just kind of like dealing with the situation as is and try to kind of like do the best in the situation. So the next one, since nothing really opened up, so I'm going to pick somebody. I'm going to pick Scorpio. Scorpio. All right. Scorpio. I think that's a little bit too many cards. Just one, 2, or 3. Scorpio. Scorpio. Oops. So we have the 9 of Wands and 9 of Cups, both reversed. And then you have 7 of Wands. So this is the seasoned warrior who is kind of like going to this next level, to the next step, right? There's like the sun, and you feel really comfortable and happy about your day. With 9 of Cups, it's simply celebration, when you're also rewarding yourself and you're saying, well, you're worth it, you deserve it, right? You sometimes go and indulge yourself to something. So you're feeling here that the time is not ripe for that yet. You're not in a time to congratulate yourself yet. You still feel that you have battles ahead of you, and you still feel that you shouldn't lay down your swords if you wish. There are issues happening which could be connecting to jealousy. It could be with how other people perceive you or how you perceive other people. There could be issues in how to move forward, right? How to do the proper planning. This is like clearly 2 nines. Nines are the final stages of something, final stages where you really need to reach a decision. But in nines situation, we also either reap or we are punished. So reap the rewards or we are punished. So it could be sometimes both. Like we're not perfect, right? So sometimes we both get rewarded and get punished. It's kind of like what they call it bittersweet. And 7 of Wands is really, really good. It almost like reminds me always of Marlon Brando, this person over here. So this person is clearly kind of like defending himself, but he doesn't seem to be afraid. He's standing his ground. And he's basically saying, no, I've worked really long and I've worked really hard to be where I am. I'm not going to let go of this, and I'm going to not let somebody to take this. So it is very important to kind of like really realize that you will be, in a sense, protecting whatever battles you have won up to this point, or protecting people close to you. Sevens are technically sometimes solitary. And it could be that you have been attacked well, whether, you know, I don't think physically, but verbally, or that you are being called to answer certain things and kind of like deal with that, where you kind of like end up being puzzled. Why am I being given as that? Why is this not self-explanatory? Why are we not dealing with the situation the way it is? That's again that Venus retrograde that really happens, right? So there is like some level of some transformation, right? So this is all kind of like coming down to you needing to set your goals, you needing to figure out who you are, where you want to go, and how you want to get there, knowing really well that you're not going to be supported, maybe by nobody. Maybe you're going to be very solitary in your journey towards something that you really want. But again, that's leadership, guys. Usually leaders kind of like set their own goals and go there in spite of all of these people, lazy, procrastinating, who are saying, no, you're not going to get there. Oh, how many people tried? Nobody got there. No, you will try and you will get there. And you'll kind of like have this really, really observant point of view where you're not going to allow other people to dissuade you. So it's going to be very important new direction, if you wish. Okay, I again didn't have much to go with, so I will go next to Cancer. So let's see what we get for Cancer over here. Get a sip of a coffee. Over here, Cancer. Cancer for this period of time. Hello, Christina. Hello, San Gerard, California. And that's a warm place. Guys, please like it. Please click like. That it's appreciated. So I know that this is kind of like worthwhile continuing. That's kind of like cheer me up kind of a thing for me. So Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. So we have the Emperor, we have 8 of Pentacles, and then we have 10 of Wands. So this is about stability. It's kind of weird because we did have the Pisces, right? Kind of like needing to reach stability. It looks like the water signs are having it. You're like just about to turn this water into the steam, like you're like jumping out of your own skin with all this stuff that is really happening, right? That whole status quo is really, really bothering you. I think some of you are very domesticated. Some of you are really paying attention to what is really happening. Maybe you're organizing your kitchen cupboards and kind of like very kind of like turning into some beautiful small pleasures, but you are in turn actually realizing how much you really enjoy them. This also can talk about very domestic bliss, kind of like domestic type of life, which I think has lots of transparency because this is a 10 of Wands and it's reversed, which is really good when it reverses. So interesting enough that we also have a 2 of Swords behind that. So in this deck we don't see this guy struggling with those wands like in the other Rider-Waite kind of like type of the decks. We see somebody who is really wealthy, and I think he's going to his home, which is this beautiful castle on top of the mountain. He is also in a really good shape. He just put his like all the wands over his shoulders and he's carrying them with ease. So I really think that this is also certainly a burden, like burden on your shoulder, literally over here. But now it's falling off. You are not worried anymore. There's like some level of transparency. There are no secrets anymore. You have this nice flow of energy going back and forth. See you, Kylie. It was really nice to see you, my lady, and all the best. So hopefully see you soon. So I think what we are seeing here is that you guys are going to feel and go through a very comfortable week and feeling really kind of like okay with everything that's happening. Some of you may I don't know if you're looking for somebody or some sort, you're going to find that it's okay, you're stabilizing, you are in control, somebody's coming toward you, you're going to feel that things are moving forward, everything is going to look really, really good, and you're going to start feeling but there's like a new direction that is really hopeful. If you guys are already in a relationship that you're living with somebody, it's going to feel almost like a bliss type of week, where maybe like partners will have their own traditional roles if you wish, but it's not going to bother you even a tiny little bit for one reason or another. So who do we do next? Let's go Virgo. So Virgo, what do we have for you? Virgo. We have the Fool reversed. Then we have Five of Swords. We have the Lovers reversed and King of Pentacles. Look at this, air, and air. That's the Venus retrograde. It's getting you in trouble. It could be somebody showing up in your life who could be an air sign and giving you all kinds of promises, and like we make unbelievable salespeople, which is a horrible thing to have in relationships, right? Where there's this promise of moving forward in some kind of like direction. You have both the Fool and the Lovers over here, but they're both reversed. So there is like some kind of essence. Maybe you're dealing with somebody who's married. Maybe you're dealing with somebody who's really bored. Maybe you're dealing with somebody who is doing all kinds of promises. I'm really seeing third party all over the place. I'm seeing that clearly the person is not who they say they are. You're seeing this King of Pentacles, somebody who is well established, who is well put together. They're nothing but. They're like liars. They're like self-indulgent. They're doing their own thing. Be very, very careful, especially guys if you're dealing with an air sign or somebody who has lots of air in their chart, because that is going to kind of like really cloud your better judgment. Look at the clouds we see basically everywhere, right? So it's going to be a week of you having really your hopes really, really high. I really don't think you'll be even comprehending what I'm saying at all this week. You're going to be just sailing into something that is happening. Something is maybe starting. You're starting with somebody new. You were over idealizing the person. You're thinking, oh my gosh, this is starting so nice. There's like something that you still need to learn about this person, if that's the case. If you're not on the market to meet somebody else, then it's going to be something where there are like sets of circumstances or somebody else's I don't know if I would say will, or somebody else's say that is almost like going to affect you, and you really don't like the fact that there's like a person coming from nowhere and kind of like cutting your life and telling you how to live your life. So it's going to be a really interesting week. As I said, you're going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel comfortable with this person. You're going to be comfortable in the situation, and yet you really have to worry. I mean, I don't like telling anybody to worry, but you really have to be cautious, kind of a thing, right? So the next one will be Gemini. Gemini. My gosh, I am on the roll today. It goes much faster. Gemini. 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 Why do I have only 12 likes? You guys like it? Please like it. Click on that button down there. Okay, so Gemini, 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 and Gemini. So we see Queen of Cups reversed, Two of Swords, and Eight of Swords. There was like emotional issue or something involving emotions that had really, really high level of drama in some of your likes. Sounds like my Gemini X coming back around. Thanks for the warning. This indicates maybe somebody who is crying to manipulate with tears. This indicates someone who just wants what he or she wants and kind of like doesn't care if this means that the other person will be happy, right? It talks about this indecision about these two parties or something, right? Because that's one of those things, like, is my head going to prevail and my reasoning, or will I just go with the flow with my heart, whatnot, right? But the time is coming, it's running out for the decision. It's very, very important. Somebody's feeling stuck in a situation. Look at this. Somebody feels possibly betrayed. Somebody felt really, I don't really know what is the exit out. It's not an easy solution. Eight of Swords is like not really understanding that you really have no real enemies. You are stuck in your own world. When this reverses, is like you are removing the blindfold, and these are the only two cards with blindfold. Sometimes justice cards comes, but interestingly, most of the time doesn't. So what is it, guys, that you are not seeing? There's like something not seen over here, and be very careful. There is, again, somebody, either it could be you manipulating, or it could be somebody else manipulating, but somebody is manipulating the situation. To some extent you know it, because you do have the swords, and you know that you found yourself in the situation in the first place because something didn't kind of flow right, whether or not somebody kind of like set a trap, and you fell in a trap, and you found this true truth about the situation when it was too late. Or, if this is, for example, a work situation, then somebody is, I don't know, using their charms to get what they want, and it's really, really hard to show people the truth, because again, we are going through Venus retrograde, and people just want to believe what they want to believe. It's very hard to remove this wool of their heads, because they're holding on to that really, really strongly. So I really think it's going to be very, very important this week to go with small steps, and you're not going to listen to that because you have swords. You're just going to go with really full power, and decision is going to be really hard to reach, but I really think it's going to be a product of analysis and thinking. You know how you have these two faces, and always one face talks to another, and they are continuously debating, and you're going to realize, I think, some evil or some unhealthy influence that basically has applied onto you, and it's going to be something that is almost going to set you free. So maybe somebody was holding you down with stories and promises, and now you're realizing that story is something completely different, and that's really important. So what, do I have only one left? Is this possible? Jesus. Yeah. So we are dealing with Sagittarius. Oh, how did I manage to do that? If I do it in every time like this within an hour, I can do it twice a week, but I'm not able to do it. So Sagittarius, Saint, you can go back to 1802, is the stamp for Leo. Sagittarius. So we have the 8 of Cups and 3 of Pentacles, and then we have a Page of Swords. Going forward, going backward, and then trying to wiggle out of the situation. It sounds like Sagittarians, that's for sure, right? Oof, I've forgotten Kylie Sagittarius. I should have done, because she's like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Barbie moderators, next time we see Kylie, remind me to do Sagittarius earlier. Oh, I just didn't even think about it. I feel so bad now. And she even came on live. Ouch. So who is leaving Sagittarius? Look at this, 8 and 3 is 11. There is like this karmic level, so we will see lots of karmic things happening, and that's what I said. This is a really good thing about pandemic, which means we are kind of reassessing, repositioning ourselves, and this is clearly happening here. It's almost like you're feeling that there is like not meeting of the minds in some kind of situation, that you are leaving some kind of situation over here, and you're leaving because it's not possible to make it work. So he's trying to find this recipe, he's trying different combinations. Just like right now, I am starting my new company, which is creating a candy and every day I'm cooking, and trying to find a new recipe, and I did find few, but nothing that is really exciting. I just don't want to put a product on the market that is okay. It's going to be just like any other one. I want something super exciting, and I will let you'll be the first ones to know a second after my partner when this happens. So this is really telling me that something is like really not exciting, something is not doable, and this could be severing that knot, severing something. There is like a time, it's either you or somebody is doing that to you. It is like time to kind of like move forward. Page of Swords is somebody who is extremely blunt, and we know your sign is very blunt too, and maybe you are kind of like being harsh with yourself or blunt with yourself, and it's simply that awakening that you really needed to hear, needed to know, because it is really important to kind of like realize some truths or some directions about you or about somebody else. So whatever doesn't work is going to stop this week. Whatever works, you're going to take and run with it, and you're going to have almost like a new system going forward. And Barbie is calling for the next or the last round of our pick a card. So guys, think about something else as Barbie instructed. Let me cover the screen over here, and let's see. Let's shuffle these cards. So, doors, number 1. Oop, one jumped, I didn't see it. This one wanted to come out, so I'm going to put it for doors number 2. And there it is, a door number 3. Alright, let me show this. And if you guys, thank you Barbie for Kylie. If you guys are asking for door number 1, you're getting a 3 of Wands. So this is the card of ships, partnerships, relationships, friendships. So the question was something like that. It's kind of like contingent on development of something or relationship, or other people really need to do something about the situation. It is reversed. They're not going to come through. There is like issue that is going to kind of like put a stain in all of that stuff. Maybe you are going to be seeing that, hey, this is not doable, this is not workable. So the answer here is a no. The door number 2 is 6 of Pentacles. So this is saying it's going to be some kind of development, not as big as you thought and you hoped for, but nonetheless it's going to be a positive direction. So take it. Take it, because it's giving you the seed of opportunity in the situation, that somebody is maybe giving a conditional yes and saying yes, but I really want to see how this goes. So it's almost like, for example, this is connecting to relationships as well. It would be a trial, not separation, but it could be a trial separation as well, though, where you think of, okay, so let's date. Let's try to rekindle. Let's try to find the good things before we move forward. It could be trial, kind of like starting over again, but with caution, kind of a thing. So he's giving just one coin at a time and kind of balancing and trying to see, okay, if I give this, will I give back? So it's going to be looking into both sides of equation. And the door number 3 is the World. And that's resounding yes. So that's the card I got from my company when I was doing the reading for how this candy company will do, and I knew this is going to be a big success, worthless success. This is talking about positivity, this is talking about strength, this is talking about things are going to ground, this is talking about kind of like you're going to get your act together, and it's going to be everything that you hope for. So good for you. So that is me. That is from me today. Hopefully, guys, oh my gosh, we got it in 1 hour. If I do it each and every time 1 hour, I would be very, very happy. That will be a better use of time. But you know, that reading is not, I cannot kind of like contain it like like that. So we'll just continue and flow and see what happens. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys are going to enjoy yourself. And I'm going to try to find something to play for you that, you know, we can kind of like say goodbye. We are going to have, I think on Sunday, is it or Monday, fireworks, and I really hate fireworks. I hate the noise, I hate everything, and of course I hate the fucking, well, I use the F word, you're probably the first time you heard me. a point that, like, I mean, my animals kind of lose it. So it's going to be a really tough week for me. In any case, for my effing weekend, hopefully everybody's going to have a much better time than me kind of trying to hide under the bed with my dogs and cats. But this is only going to be on Monday. And until then, I wish you all a beautiful week. And we are going to celebrate Memorial Day coming up next weekend. So I love you. I wish you all the best. Until the next time, take care, guys. That's it, Barbie. I'm sending this timestamps to you, and guys, I will see you soon. You know that I love you. I wish you all the best. Take care, and I'll see you